during this active evening. Thanks for joining us on a busy Thursday. I'm Dan Schaefer.
And I'm Erin Dacey.
Following a guilty on all counts verdict, the judge in the Christopher Henderson capital murder trial expects a sentencing recommendation from the jury before lunch tomorrow. This guilty verdict came less than 1 hour ago on the jury's third day of deliberations. That jury found Christopher Henderson guilty of killing 5 people and then setting the house on fire in 2015. His second wife and their unborn child among those victims. WAAY 31's Bridget Divers has been at the courthouse all week, and she joins us live now with the latest in the wake of this guilty verdict. Bridget?
After that guilty verdict was announced, Christopher Henderson did leave the courtroom with his entire legal team. I tried speaking with Henderson, but of course he did not answer me. I asked him what he would say to Kristen Smallwood's family. Kristen is his second wife, who he did kill, and he also killed their unborn baby. And I also asked him if he had anything to say to Keith. Keith is Kristen's brother, who testified during this trial as well. Now, the 5 counts of intentional murder committed during first-degree burglary are some of those 15 counts of capital murder, and 5 more are for first-degree murder for arson. And so I'm going to be here at the courthouse keeping you updated on anything. We were able to speak with Chief Trial Attorney Tim Gann just about the trial and everything that happened. He said the District Attorney's Office, they want to see the death penalty for Henderson. I'm going to be here at the courthouse tomorrow, keeping you updated on everything happening with this case. Reporting live in Huntsville, Bridget Divers, WAAY 31 News.
Thank you, Bridget. Now that the jury has reached a guilty verdict, they will participate in the penalty phase, and that's when the punishment for the crime is decided. For Henderson, that's either the death penalty or life in prison without parole. Again, that sentencing recommendation is expected to happen before lunchtime tomorrow.
We have another breaking news update. A former Decatur high school teacher charged with having sex with a student will spend time in state prison. Carrie Witt received a 10-year sentence made up of prison time and probation. The judge says she will spend at least 18 months behind bars. In March, Witt pled guilty to engaging in a sex act with a student. But the legal battle has lasted more than 5 years. Witt asked the court to dismiss the case in 2016, saying it was unconstitutional. We have a reporter at the courthouse working to gather additional information. We have team coverage as we eagerly await the 4th of July festivities. WAAY 31's Olivia Schuler talked to first responders about how to celebrate safely on the water this weekend. We start with WAAY 31 Chief Meteorologist Kate McKenna with today's forecast, plus a sneak peek into when we can ditch the rain and break out the grills for the 4th. Kate.
Well, it looks like we're going to be getting rid of the rain just in time for a really spectacular weekend from start to finish. Doesn't happen very often this time of year in North Alabama, but it does look like it is in order, at least for this 4th of July. Take a look at what we've got right now, though, on the WAAY 31 Storm Tracker early warning radar network. It's increasingly active. We saw a fairly quiet picture when I came into work today. I just had a little thin band of storms moving through, and now we've got this widespread rain and storms. It's starting to fizzle in the sense that we don't have any intense thunderstorm activity in Madison County, just some steadier rain moving through. But the WAAY 31 Storm Tracker early warning radar network, our Muscle Shoals radar, is picking up on this band of storms. This is the strongest activity that we've got right now. Most of the lightning is still around Red Bay and Vina. I don't see a lot of lightning up around Muscle Shoals, but that is tracking toward the east about 22 miles per hour. It will be in Killen by 5:34. It will be in Moulton by 6:21, Decatur by 7 o'clock, and Madison by 7:34 if all of that holds together according to that same speed that I was tracking it at for you. The wider view shows there's much more rain heading our way tonight. That's in advance of that cold front. So if you're trying to get some grilling done tonight, I hope that you've got some kind of cover because the storms are going to be with us basically off and on all through the evening. 77 degrees by 8 o'clock, although it will be cooler if you are seeing some rain. Tomorrow's forecast looks like this: 84 degrees. We get rid of the rain for the most part by the afternoon. A couple of spotty showers are still possible. That north wind brings in drier, more comfortable air for the weekend. I'm tracking that exact 4th of July forecast for you. What you can expect for fireworks coming up.
Thank you, Kate. Well, we are days away from the holiday weekend, and for many of us, that means spending the day on the water. WAAY 31's Olivia Schuler spoke to first responders who say now is the time to familiarize yourself with the best ways to stay safe.
Morgan County Rescue Squad says making sure you have all the basics before you head out can make a big difference. That means remembering your life jacket, a fire extinguisher, and plenty of water. The rescue squad chief says while it sounds simple, those items can be lifesavers, literally. He says life jackets should always be worn, and with fireworks commonly shot off of boats, the rescue squad says you should make sure a fire extinguisher is at reach. Humidity will also play a role in this July 4th weekend. The rescue squad chief said hydration is key, especially when drinking alcohol in the sun.
You don't want to go into heat shock. If you do go into heat shock, you want to stay cool. You want to keep the person calm, and you want to try to call 911 and get them to the nearest boat landing that you can.
Kelso adds that drivers of the boat need an Alabama boating license and need to be sober to operate it. He says that anytime, if you need them, don't hesitate to call 911. Reporting in Decatur, Olivia Schuler, Way 31 News.
And to reiterate, the driver of the boat needs to be sober to operate it.
As of today, the NCAA temporary policy to allow collegiate athletes to benefit from name, image, and likeness is in effect. Major D1 schools like Syracuse, Michigan tweeted out their support for this new opportunity for their student athletes. University of Alabama published rules for its athletes as they navigate possible brand deals and partnerships. Way 31 Sports Director Lyndon Blake joins us now with how this shift has already impacted Alabama and Auburn student athletes. Lyndon.
Dan, if you were up past midnight like I was on Instagram, you started to see the flurry of endorsement announcements drop from Alabama and Auburn players. Even throughout the day, it's been a new athlete taking advantage of making money for the first time in their career. Bo Nix wasted no time announcing his paid partnership. The Auburn quarterback is teaming up with Milo's Sweet Tea. Nix said in his post his family drinks the sweet tea, so he's excited to work with him, and I endorse his endorsement. That one's smart. Trayshawn Holden, one of the first Alabama players to ink a deal. The receiver is working with Yoke Gaming, an app which lets fans play video games with their favorite athletes. Here's an interesting one. Sean Shivers is going to get paid to podcast. He announced a spot with a popular Auburn podcast. Now, this is really cool. Oklahoma quarterback Spencer Rattler says he's excited about this new era, but he's committed to remaining focused on winning games. In a tweet, he said he'll donate a portion of his earnings to underserved families and communities. It's been wild to watch everything unfold. Some guys are using their dogs to get deals with pet companies, something just incredible that we've never seen before in college athletics. So even one Marshall football player tweeted he can finally play music under his real name, Will Ulmer. So a new era that we have all entered. So as Gus Malzahn used to say, buckle up.
A breaking news update from Florida. In just the last 5 minutes, search and rescue crews were able to resume efforts at the Surfside condo collapse. They were stopped earlier today after structural engineers shared concerns about the portion of the building that is still standing. The president today met with those grieving families whose loved ones were more than 150 still unaccounted for, or the 18 confirmed dead. Right now, one North Alabama ambulance service is preparing in case it's needed during hurricane season.
Way 31's Sophia Borelli went to DeKalb Ambulance Service to see what they're doing to get ready, and even did some training herself to see what it takes.
Nobody plans the hurricanes. We just plan to be ready for them.
In case of a natural disaster like a hurricane, crews here at DeKalb Ambulance Services are ready to go. That's because they recently had the training that they need so that when FEMA calls, they're ready to respond.
Because of COVID, last year and this year, FEMA put an additional requirement on us to make sure that all our people met this specific standard for respiratory protection training.
I was able to go through that respiratory protection training Thursday to see what it's like.
We trained you on the respirator, what the hazards are, how to put it on, how to inspect it, and then we put you in the respirator and put the paper bag over your head. And we spray smelly stuff inside the paper bag. And with the respirator on, we get you to move your head this way, and we move your head this way, and you turn, and you talk out loud, and you bend over, and you run in place, and you do all these exercises.
Leslie Behringer told me this training is crucial since ambulance crews can't afford to get sick during a deployment. If a hurricane threatens nearby Gulf Coast areas, crews know what to do.
If hurricanes are going to come near Pensacola, like there's hospitals in Pensacola, and there's nursing homes, and there's group homes, and there's assisted living, and those people all have to get out, and they can't get on a bus. So we And lots of other companies from all over, literally all over the country, come down, and we load up everybody in the hospital, and we take them 200 miles inland. We put them in a different hospital, and then when the storm's over, we load them all up and take them all back.
She says right now they are watching Tropical Storm Elsa, which could enter the Gulf of Mexico as soon as next week.
Hurricane deployments are very stressful. They're a lot of work. None of us would be in EMS if we didn't love helping people.
In Fort Payne, Sophia Borelli, Wave 31 News.
This week we are celebrating the 80th anniversary of Redstone Arsenal. Hear about a special bureau on the arsenal that helps keep us safe.
Plus, newly announced federal resources may help Alabama tackle COVID-19.
And coming up on Wave 31 News at 6, space campers are hearing from their idols what the Inspiration 4 crew had to share with these future astronauts.
Coverage you can count on. You're watching Wave 31 News with Dan Schaefer, Aaron Dacey, Chief Meteorologist Kate McKenna, and the Wave 31 Storm Tracker Early Warning Radar Network.
All this week, Way 31 is marking the 80th anniversary of Redstone Arsenal and telling the stories of the people, past and present, who work there. Tonight, I'm spotlighting the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the ATF. They are relatively newcomers to Redstone, established there in 2014, and the work being done there is keeping all of us safer.
The applications for explosives, I mean, it's just changed the world.
John Underwood is the special agent in charge at the ATF's National Center for Explosives Training and Research on Redstone Arsenal.
When used correctly, perfectly reasonable, perfectly legal. It's just when the criminal misuse of the explosives is where we get concerned. A bomb is only limited by the bomb maker's imagination.
And it's here at this 85,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility that the ATF trains thousands of law enforcement and military personnel on how to safely store, handle, and dispose of explosives.
We bring investigators from all over the country and all over the world, quite frankly, to the Redstone Arsenal so that we can teach them the tactics, techniques, and procedures to enable them to do their job more effectively.
Agents are always trying to stay one step ahead of the bad guys. They do that here with 5 on-site labs, researching the safe handling and use of explosives, and also training law enforcement and the military into how these devices are constructed, from the explosives they use to how they're detonated. It could be as simple as a clothespin.
They can be the use of everyday materials that you have in your house right now with a negative or nefarious mindset can be used for criminal purposes.
5,400 students a year go through extensive hands-on training on advanced explosives disposal techniques, post-blast investigation, and homemade explosives. Common items in your pantry that, in the wrong hands, could be made into a bomb.
People with bad intent are harvesting household chemicals to create explosives.
Underwood says the ATF was a natural fit on Redstone Arsenal. One of the most obvious benefits is available land.
We have this building here, but we also maintain 3 explosives ranges as well to complete our work on.
If you occasionally hear explosions in the distance,
they're coming from one of our explosives ranges. Not particularly this building, but certainly coming from our explosives ranges.
Just bear in mind, with each explosion, the ATF is gaining more knowledge and passing that knowledge on to first responders and the military, whose job it is to keep us all safe.